Okay, so let me hit you with some extra knowledge here, right? Because they're not going to teach you this in those antichrist churches because they don't understand anything that's going on. Okay, so when the white man's Christ took our Christ up into that exceedingly high mountain, and he showed him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. When he showed him the kingdom of New York, when he showed him the kingdom of DC, when he showed him the kingdom of Moscow, the kingdom of France, the kingdom of Great Britain, the kingdom of Johannesburg, when he showed him Hong Kong and Tokyo and all of those kingdoms, what our Savior didn't see, what our Christ didn't see, was their Christ making provisions for us, for black people. Like black people wasn't going to be given a kingdom. We weren't going to be given a territory to have as our own. So their Christ did not make that provision, and he saw that. He saw that. And so when their Christ makes this offer, he has to reject it, because that would mean that he himself would gain the whole world, but he would lose his soul. And you need to understand what is meant by his soul. That meant that he would lose black people, because black people are his soul. So he would rather reject their Christ's offer, right? To reject the white man's Christ's offer and not rule over the people in all of these kingdoms, in Hong Kong, in Tokyo, in Shanghai, in, like I said, in Moscow, in France, in Germany, in Switzerland, in Turkey, in all of these places, in Dubai. He chose not to want to be the ruler of these people if it meant that he was going to lose his soul, if he was going to lose black people, because we are his soul. So that statement, what is it to gain the whole world if to lose your soul? That's what it means. And they're not going to tell you that, because if they told you that, then you would see and you would understand that he is not their Christ. He is your Christ. And so when he was tempted of the devil, of the white man's Christ, for 40 days and for 40 nights, he chose us. He didn't choose them. When their Christ thought he was at his weakest, he still had the presence of mind to choose us. So how come we're not choosing him? We're still choosing their Christ as opposed to our Christ who chose us. Okay, so as you look at this statue of the white man's Christ in Rio, on that mountain peak, with his outstretched hands pretending to be our Christ, I want you to listen to what King Solomon has written in Ode 33 about this very same scenario. Okay, and I'm going to start at verse 3. And it says, "And he stood on the peak of a summit and cried aloud from one end of the earth to the other. Then he drew to him all those who obeyed him, for he did not appear as the evil one. However, the perfect virgin stood, who was preaching and summoning and saying, O you sons of men, return, and you, their daughters, come and leave the way of the corrupter and approach me. And I will enter into you and bring you forth from destruction and make you wise in the ways of truth. Be not corrupted nor perish. Obey me and be saved. For I am proclaiming unto you the grace of God, and through me you will be saved and become blessed. I am your judge, and they who have put me on shall not be falsely accused, but they shall possess incorruption in the new world. So that image that they got in Rio, standing on the summit of that mountain, is the evil one. And this is what our Christ rejected. Our Christ rejected the offer of their Christ.